What is up, y'all? Rank and File Bitcoin podcast. I'm riding solo. We don't have a lamo for today. He's out hunting subs, the New Jersey style. What's going on in Bitcoin? Fear and greed index. Fear is at a 10. Extreme fear. Whoa. Someone told me that the fear level right now in Bitcoin is lower than when FTX collapsed in November of 2022. We couldn't believe it ourselves. We went back and checked. Yes, this is true. I think it was at 22 was the fear level when FTX collapsed with $3 billion lost. And today we sit at 10, which is extreme fear, while the price of Bitcoin sits right around 84,000. Okay. I guess it's a whole new group in. So different strokes for different folks and scared at different times. Meanwhile, as extreme fear permeates Bitcoin, and people are worried about how far can it drop and what's going on and why is it dropping and what are the marshals doing? Do the U.S. Marshals have the Bitcoin? Meanwhile, the state of Texas passed Senate Bill 21 out of the Senate Committee on Business and Commerce. I think it was unanimous, and we are going to pull that clip up for you right now.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The chair lays out as a matter of pending business Senate Bill 21. But first, I understand there is a committee substitute. Senator Swartner sends up the committee substitute for SB 21, and Senator Swartner is recognized to explain the differences between the substitute and the bill as filed.
Yes. The committee substitute simply removes the charitable donation provision of the introduced version of the bill, which, of course, pertains to the Texas Strategic Bitcoin Reserve. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Senator Campbell moves adoption of the committee substitute to Senate Bill 21. Is there objection? The chair hearing none, the motion is adopted. Senator Campbell moves that Senate Bill 21 do not pass, but that the substitute adopted in lieu thereof do pass and be printed. The clerk will please call the roll.
Senator Blanco? Aye. Senator Campbell? Aye. Senator Creighton? Aye. Senator Johnson? Aye. Senator Kolkhorst? Aye. Senator Menendez? Senator Middleton? Aye. Senator Nichols? Dean Zaffarini? Aye. Senator King?
Aye.
Senator Schwartner?
Aye.
Being 9 ayes and 0 nays, the committee substitute to Senate Bill 21 is favorably reported.
Okay, so 9 ayes and 0 nays with a last-minute substitute, which they said simply removing the charitable donations clause. I remember during the hearing, there were some issues with what would accepting charitable donations to the state of Texas in the form of Bitcoin entail. I think there were some challenges discussed and issues around how that would work. And so that was scratched. And they said it was simply removed. I don't know if that was a reference to Simply Bitcoin and that they were saying Simply Bitcoin removed it. I don't think so, because Simply would want to keep those charitable donations. I think they were just saying it was simply removed, like very simply put, we're just taking it out. So that moves on to the next phase. And it brings us back here to the map, as you can see on bitcoinlaws.io. 66 measures, 34 states, 31 SBRs introduced, 25 are live. We scroll down the list here, and as you saw in our last episode, we can see the bills that were killed, and that was Montana, North Dakota, Pennsylvania, South Dakota, Wyoming. Those were killed, but we have bills in multiple states ranging on all types of issues. Some of them are direct Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Act, like the one in Maryland, the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Act of Maryland. That's in Committee 1. Others are around blockchain technology, digital asset mining, things of that nature. Again, as Texas gets their little notch moved from committee to Chamber 1, that needs to be updated there. Utah still leads the state race to see who's going to be the first state to add Bitcoin to the balance sheet. Utah is in Chamber 2, one step away from being enacted. Arizona's in Chamber 1. Oklahoma is also Chamber 1. And then you got Texas. Actually, Texas did update their bill. It was just a different bill. So it is now in Chamber 1. I still think Texas is going to be first due to the adoption, the mining industry that they have in the state, the fact that Fort Worth was the first city in the United States to mine Bitcoin out of City Hall. That's where my bet is, but we'll continue to track to see who is going to be the first state to Bitcoin. So a big notch, but yet fear remains, extreme fear, as unprecedented levels of states talk about Bitcoin, have bills in multiple chambers, have bipartisan bills. We have, the strategic Bitcoin reserve at the federal level is still up in the air. We just had the first law enforcement association add Bitcoin to the balance sheet. There are pension funds that are adding Bitcoin to the balance sheet. GameStop is trying to potentially throw out some hints, hinting at, adding Bitcoin to the balance sheet. All these things are happening, yet there is extreme fear. So what is the lesson learned from this extreme fear? It's this: turn off the headlines. Stop learning about Bitcoin from your cellular phone. What you're going to see are stories like massive hack where Ethereum is stolen. You're going to see US Marshals can't find Bitcoin. You're going to see massive Bitcoin crash from 108,000 to 84, even though the election was just in November where we were in the 70s. And so we're 10,000 above where we were in the election. And you'll see, the euphoria from the Trump win is over. They're going to just always use storylines for their own agenda, whatever that is. So turn off the mainstream media and go learn about Bitcoin. There's tons of sources out there. Our channel is a great one. That's Proof of Workforce on YouTube. Simply Bitcoin Magazine. There's endless amounts of educational content where you can go sort through the noise and pick up good information about Bitcoin. Along those lines, real quick, I want to just go over some self-custody cool thoughts and things to think about for the everyday worker and wage earner. I've been having really good conversations with workers and wage earners out there. Some friends back home that are now finding Bitcoin super exciting, and I love talking to them about it. Self-custody is something that comes up a lot. Do I need to self-custody? Why can't I just hold Bitcoin in the ETF? Can I just keep it on the exchange? Look, here's some lessons that have been learned the hard way that you can bypass for yourself. Third-party people will let you down. Hard stop. What does that mean to Bitcoin? It means this: Bitcoin was created in a way that you could hold your own keys that prove that you own a piece of the Bitcoin ledger, something we call Bitcoin, which is of tremendous value in today's day and age. You can hold your own keys. What I want to say to the workers and wage earners is, do not bypass the step in learning about self-custody. You don't need to do anything with a large amount. Use exploratory funds, $5, $10, to just learn how to hold Bitcoin in self-custody. Trust me, it's worth it to learn it. It's a tremendous feeling when you hold something in your own custody that is not prone to third-party reckless behavior, banks, governments, any of these institutions that may let you down. It's an amazing feeling to hold this thing of value for which you traded your invaluable time and energy to earn money. As we know, that money, the value of that money we're earning is being stripped away through inflation, which is now in the most conservative numbers at around 3.5%. That's the most conservative. But the numbers are higher than that. Why? Because you can see your credit card bills. You can see your cost of living. You can see your expenses. They're going up and you're having a hard time keeping pace. I know I have been. So this is something that affects all workers. So learn self-custody, learn about signing devices, learn about how to keep your keys safe, learn about running your own node. This is an amazing thing where you can basically use a computer to run a Bitcoin node where you run a copy of the ledger and you can interact with the Bitcoin network directly without use of a third party. It can be very complex, very scary. I know recently I went to verify software for a node that I was trying to update the software. And if you haven't verified a download using Terminal on the Mac or PGP, an app verification tool, these things can be really scary, but have a good time with it. Enjoy the journey, learn something new, and trust me, it will be worth it. With that said, on self custody, as far as learning about signing devices, aka hardware wallets, storing your own keys, turn off the media. Turn off the news that's like saying, get off of price action for a bit. Forget about price. Surely you're more patient than waiting, being all about Bitcoin price action and checking every day, right? This is for the long term. This is for the next generation. This is a new tool. Turn off the Apple device, turn off your phone, turn off your computer, and go learn about Bitcoin, whether it's through a book. Okay, I'll let you turn back on your computer so you can learn about Bitcoin. So let me rephrase that. Turn off mainstream media. Turn it off. If you're going to dedicate 2 to 5 minutes on learning something about Bitcoin, don't use the New York Times or Bloomberg or some writer that has some agenda. Use those 2 to 5 minutes to listen to a Bitcoin educator like a BTC Sessions, someone that's going to teach you something about Bitcoin. Trust me, it'll be worth it. You'll have more fun. And that extreme fear you have at a 10 may just turn to a little bit of optimism where you're excited about Bitcoin as a tool. So go do that. I want to wrap by sharing a thought I had and a recent tweet that I put out. And that tweet, which I'll pull it up, said, Bitcoin's simplest features are also most overlooked. Borderless in bold. The fact that you can travel with a claim to $50,000 in Bitcoin, parentheses, that's code, that can be accessed anywhere in the world without permission is a mind-blowing innovation. I had a conversation with someone recently. Think about that for a second. You can travel right now. When you travel, if you want to bring cash or value, you have to claim that with the government, $10,000. Got it. All right. They want to know. The government wants to know when you bring money into their country. So you have to claim it. If you travel with a piece of paper that has a list of words that you can access your funds, you're not traveling with money. You're not traveling with Bitcoin. You don't have Bitcoin in your pocket. You don't have Bitcoin with you. It can't be seized. Why? Well, again, dedicate some of that time to learning about Bitcoin, but because Bitcoin is a ledger that is maintained by computers all over the world. When we say we hold Bitcoin, what we really mean is that we hold a claim, a key that proves that we own a certain amount of the Bitcoin that is on the ledger. So what does that mean? If you travel with that key, it's no different than traveling with a safety deposit box key. Do you have to claim that when you're traveling? No, that would be insane. Oh, I'm claiming this key. It accesses money somewhere. So this is a mind-blowing concept that really is the first time this has ever happened, that you can travel internationally with proof, and you can hold that proof in your own brain, by the way. I don't recommend it because you don't want to hold, 24 words in your mind, and you might get in that little boxing match in a parking lot somewhere, and all of a sudden, right, you're a little loopy and you forgot one of the words. No bueno. But you can travel with this access in your brain. And again, this isn't money that you're holding. It's proof that you own the part of the Bitcoin ledger that you say you own and that you can send to someone peer to peer without permission, right? So when you're traveling worldwide, you can travel with that and you can access that from anywhere where there's the internet. Oh my God, that's mind blowing. And a lot of times it's overlooked and people don't think about it. So your takeaway for today is Bitcoin is borderless. Go learn about why Bitcoin is borderless, learn about how that works, and you're going to have time much better spent than fear mongering on a New York Times or Bloomberg article telling you to be very, very afraid as the state of Texas passes a bill to put Bitcoin on the balance sheet out of committee, as Organizations and associations around the country are adopting Bitcoin as the nation of the United States considers putting Bitcoin on the balance sheet, right? As pension funds, hedge funds, big institutional funds trade Bitcoin on a daily basis with massive amounts of inflows and outflows, right? Go take a break from that and go learn about why Bitcoin is borderless, and you're going to be better off. So that is all for today. It's Dom Bei from Proof of Workforce, Rank and File Bitcoin, where we put high level signal above subs. But as my good friend Chris Alamo says, if you're talking about a cold cut sub from Jersey Mike's, which is not a sponsor of ours, but someone please put us in touch, we will put subs above the signal, in that we will enjoy a sub and really prioritize that. So to all the workers and wage earners out there, have a good rest of the week. Get through to the weekend, get some good R&R. And if you are going to learn about Bitcoin, turn off the headlines, turn off the mainstream media, and go learn something interesting about Bitcoin as a tool and as a network. Later, y'all. See you next week.